conversation.
Not everyone that's in the prison that is guilty, but we have a university center criminal.
We watch reports of violent crimes on the news all the time, most times nonchalant about the brutal events, since the victims, location, and perpetrators are not related to us in any way. But that all changes when a crime happens close to home. When the girl in your yoga class is raped in the parking lot of the same studio where you do classes, when your cousin's house is broken into and everything is stolen, and when your friend is robbed and stabbed on the way to his car minutes after you enjoyed a drink together. I'm Shane. Welcome to another episode of Solutions, Answers from the People, simple solutions offered by St. Lucians. No one is safe from crime or criminal elements. It can happen to anyone, anytime. We try to keep ourselves away from areas more prone to criminal activity, but sometimes we just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. We ask the people, what is your solution to protect yourself with the increase in violent crime? Let's hit the streets and hear what the people had to say.
We have to draw closer to God. Pray, always meditate upon Him day and night. Because He tells you to call upon Him and He will answer our prayers. And He said in His word that I will never leave you nor forsake you. And He still go ahead saying that, don't bother what man can do unto you in Psalms. And He said, let not your heart be troubled. I'll go and prepare a place for you. So you pray for protection. Because that's what the Father is there for. He's there, He's our protector, He's our refuge and strength.
You have to assess the situation as and when it arises, obviously, from the point of view of the level of violence. But you have to protect yourself, ultimately, I would say. If you're able to run away, that's always the first solution, the way I see it, if you are able to walk away. However, you have to protect yourself, and you might be in a situation where it's, you or the other man, and you have to protect yourself. So I don't think there is a solution or an answer. However, based on the situation, you have to deal with whatever arises at the time. You get an opportunity to run away, run. Okay? But if you have to stand and protect yourself, you're up against the wall, that's what you've got to do, I'm afraid.
No, if you're walking on the street, and as we know, everywhere have violence and whatever, you just have to watch your back, because it happen anywhere.
Is that if somebody trusts the Lord, if you believe in the Lord, then you will not go in this gun thing. You'll respect life, you'll love people, and then you'll take care of people, so you're not going on shooting people all around the place. So I think the best thing we can do now is to offer the Lord to the nation. And if you accept the Lord, that will be our solution. That's the only answer I have for now.
Okay, there are a number of things that you could do. One, you avoid areas that are prone to crime. You become very conscious of your environment, where you are, how close you are to buildings, who is following you, who is around. You just general details. For one, additionally, personally, telephones, you get the numbers of police, the police. So you have those things on your cell. You can call them at will. These are some of the things basically I've done.
Well, you have to be alert in whatever surroundings you are. You have to keep your head over your shoulder to see who's walking close to you and so on. And when you go to the ATM, you have to look around to see who's around you. Yeah, because I remember once I was in an ATM and I saw a suspect. Somebody I suspect to think, I just walked out.
Okay, well, I think it's inevitable, as we all know that crime could only be controlled and not prevented. So I think that to me, the laws of probability, the probability of you not being a victim of crime is you're able to install surveillance cameras at your home, so that will be a deterrent to the thieves or intruders. Go home early, take self-defense classes. There are so many measures that we can take so that the probability of us being a victim of crime could be lessened versus what I said initially.
We need God in our life. Without God, He's the answer. He's the way. You see, the Bible, it has all solutions. There's nothing that's hidden from the Bible. Whatever we want to know, it is written. We have to take time out to study the Bible and to reach out to God. He's there. He's calling us. He wants to enter into our lives. Don't think that God don't care. He cares. He's calling us. Why do you think he came to die? He came so that we could have salvation and eternal life with Him. our youth must know God. The parents must introduce God to the children. If not, there's no solution, to correct the problem right now. It is God we need in this nation, in our lives.
All what do the government have to do is just start to hang them, and the crime will finish. Because without they get punishment, they always do go outside there, spend 5 minutes, and they back out and do the same crime. So that's the only solution we have there for now.
To protect myself, I will protect myself. I will protect my families if I have to protect them. And again, in my heart, as my mama have a grocery shop, I always there to be there with her to make sure that she leave that shop good and safe, that nobody rob her. I will spend all my time with my mom and my families and to be with them.
Well, in the issue related to crime, even the fact that I think young persons, and myself I'm a young person, usually the target of crime also. I think for me personally, one is looking at the time that you walk on the street. That has always been an issue, especially with the carnival season, the festive season. So as much as possible, at least trying to go in as early as possible. And the critical factor is more or less ensuring that when you leave in your home, at least you don't carry large amounts of cash, or I wouldn't carry large amounts of cash, or even expensive cell phone, because now people tend to target those things. And being cautious as much as possible, even when you walk in town, because broad daylight, having jewelry on you, having your cell phone in your hand. So these are the things that I try not to do. As you can see, my cell phone is not in my pocket, it's not in my hand. So I think these little things that I could do, and I've been doing, should at least deter some of the criminal activity.
The only thing I myself doing is pray. A lot of prayer. Talk to my people, my children, my family. Tell them to pray, put they believe in God. And that's the only thing, because there is no way we will be and you will be safe. No way. The only person that can prevent anything from happening to you, that can keep you safe, is the Lord.
Well, I wouldn't walk the paths of the crime wherever they have the crimes like grave. Well, I would not point out places, but you understand, wherever I hear there's a shooting or, and whatever I do during the day, I just try my best to avoid wherever I see they have conflicts or whatever, you understand? Because us St. Lucians, wherever we see something, we surround. Sometimes a gunshot fly and, take an innocent body.
Well, I think personally that they could make themselves less conspicuous and also be a little less gaudy. So therefore they should not show that they have so many things or make people aware that they have a lot to offer criminals. Another thing they can do as well is to become part of neighborhood watches and also to become more sensitive towards other persons in the community who might be prone to crime and to criminal behavior.
These were just some of the answers from the people. We'll take a break now. When we come back, more solutions. Welcome back to Solutions. We asked the people, what is your solution to protect yourself with the increase in violent crime? Let's get some more solutions.
Just be a little more vigilant. That's it. Watch where you're going, your surroundings, who around you.
Okay. When I look at the way the crime operating is that person assess people to mug them. That's how I view it.
I'm into the IT field. What I have done, everything at my house is IT related. So I would fence my house, of course. You put guard dogs. Also, you include in your house some sort of monitoring system, whether it be a burglar alarm. Most persons in the island, the house have no burglar bars. Or if they put burglar bars, they just assume it's fine. No, you need an alarm in your house also. Perhaps to handle your doors and your windows and so on, of course, And I always say cameras are vital. You need a camera. You need to be able to see what's happening. So even if you're not in the house, you can see remotely at your office. Wherever you are, you can see what's happening. So when something comes up, if something happens, you can justify it and say, well, I have the actual evidence. Here's footage of that. So you need something like that, So you have to do your part. It's not a case of you depend on somebody else. Maybe you depend on your neighbor to watch for you. Yes, your neighbor will be there up to a point. Thereafter, what do you do? Put the burglar alarms, put the door alarms, put the cameras, and of course put the dogs and fence the house. Buy a chain link fence and fence your house, and then you go to go. You can enjoy the jazz.
Spend more time with God. That's the opportunity. People have to get to be more loving. They have to spend more time with God so that the character of God could be revealed in their life. That's how people would learn to love each other. And they would also learn how to forgive each other, because crime, a lot of the things that are happening in crime has to do with lack of forgiveness. And only God can forgive. And unless we build in a relationship with God, you cannot transmit what you don't have. You know, if that's what you have, that's we all criminals. By nature, we all are murderers, we all are idolaters, and we all live in contrary to the principles of God. So if we build a relationship with God, automatically you'd learn to love an enemy, so there would be forgiveness, and your community would change. One man made a difference. Jesus Christ and 12 disciples revolutionized Jerusalem.
All you have to do, just chat the right place, you know. So make sure whenever you go to the right place, you have to know what chances you have to take in life. Because in these days, you know, they have a lot of drugs, right? You have to try and live right, you understand? Talk to your children, you understand? Telling them positive things, you understand? That's how you have to take the chances of reducing crime, you understand?
Well, first thing is that you'd have to be more aware of your environment. Yeah, you have to keep an eye around to see who is behind, because sometimes there's somebody following you and you don't even know that. So just be open-minded, be sharp, just keep your eyes open, because I don't think there is another chance where you're going to try and lessen it without being aware, because you can do so much and it still happens.
I would be careful, you know, like for instance, you know, how I walk with my belongings, what I have on me, which would not, you know, attract attention to me. I would ensure that, let's say around my house, there would be lights, you know, I'd have maybe lights at night. Like the bush, you'd make sure that, you know, you cut the bush around, you wouldn't have bush around your place. That, you know, people on the streets walking around would be able to see your home. You'd put, you know, various protections like burglar bars. Let let's say your neighbor know that you're not around. You do not leave, say, like certain windows open to give the thieves, you know, the opportunity to enter your house. Yeah, you just be more aware. Also, you know, we know that there are certain areas, certain streets where, you know, it's easy for them to attack you. So you try and avoid walking those streets, say either in the evening time or even, you know, trying to avoid them as much as possible. These are the things I would do.
We put another issue to the people. Illegal guns have been a major issue for the police for many years. It's the wild, wild west all over again. And like Capleton said, Jaja City has turned into a gunman town once again, despite the move to remove guns from the streets a few years ago. We asked the people, what is your solution to eradicate illegal guns from the streets? They all came up with the same answer. I don't know. We were left with one choice, no pun intended. Ask the first question again. So here are some more solutions to protect oneself considering the increase in violent crime.
Try to give an advice, and the government has to put things in place so other people get hurt. So government have to see how best he can stop the crime, and then the best thing he should do is the people that are killing people, he should be having them to condemn them, because they cannot come out again and kill people again. And because it does not condemn, other people take the style the same way. That's what I suspect. So government have to put his foot down and solve that problem.
I know that, well, if say for example that crime happens often around a certain period, certain time, I would make my way home before, like an hour, 2 hours before that, before I could put myself in that situation. So in the end, I avoid getting caught up in anything. Yeah.
Well, what I can do to lessen my chance of becoming a victim is more or less to arm yourself with a firearm that is legally bound. Yes, because what I notice, most people knowing that they may not know, but you having a firearm could serve as a deterrent to that would-be criminal. Imagine someone coming to rob your home with a cutlass or something, and you were to pull a firearm. There is a 90% chance of him not attacking you, in contrast to you not having something to really defend yourself and so on. I see that as an option. And I also see the government have to stiffen the penalty on individuals committing criminal activities. You understand? Because if I understand it correctly from a United Nations standpoint, the job of the government is to provide security for its people. You in a country, for the number of murders that has occurred in time past, no one has been hanged, nothing of that sort. So the criminals and would-be criminals see it as taboo in committing crime and so on because there is no penalty. So the government themselves have to play their part, and you also have to play your part in protecting your own self, you know? Yes. Yes.
Well, I think everybody should have a pepper spray on them because this crime will not stop. Because I think it's not enough jobs for the young people. So that's why I feel some of them is getting frustrated and doing the things that they're doing. Not everybody that steal mean that they want to do it. They're just frustrated because there's no job for them there. And then they have children. Some of them don't have children. They have a family. If not, they need things. So that's what they feel that's the easy way to forget it, but that's not true. I don't believe the right way is to just shoot somebody down. Of course, you can have your pepper spray, you spray it, and then whatever happen after, but not shooting nobody, killing nobody, and everything. But people do steal because of a reason.
Well, I tell you what, it's simple and ordinary. You walk away from trouble when you can. But violent crime on this island, I tell you what, the police got to do the job. And if the cops are doing the job and they're posted in the right place, I think a lot of, violent crime leading to, murder and death would subside. And that's all I got to say. Commissioner of Police and your cops on the streets, just do your job. And people can live a safer and more pleasant life in this community of this island.
Guns will not help. Putting additional laws will not help. It is people building a relationship with God that helps. Right? And people need a proper education in the churches. You understand? A lot of us are hypocrites in the churches. We come to church, we say, offer each other a hand of peace, and no sooner we walk outside there, we backbite each other because we have not built a relationship with God. What you have done that Christ hasn't died for you. Huh? We have done so much that deserves death. Yet Christ is forgiven. How can we not forgive one another? What do you say to that? Well, that's my take on it. Unless people build a proper relationship with God, having the truth of God, the knowledge of God, and letting that knowledge translate to experience, then a lot of people have a lot of theory in their heads, but as to it translating to experience, that's two different keys. Knowledge of the Bible and experience of the Word of God is two different. Okay? That's the solution, my dear. That's my solution.
People have to be careful. Take precautions. Police tell you all the time you don't leave your house open if you know people are going to. We have to take some responsibility ourselves and be very careful because the environment has changed. There are things that you could do 10, 15 years ago you basically cannot do now. You can't, for example, leave your vehicle open or unlocked. The society has changed and therefore you have to change too.
Time to close. We have a serious problem with illegal guns on the streets in the hands of our youth. We have an even bigger problem when no one, not one person, can come up with a solution to the problem. A few years ago, the government instituted a gun amnesty to encourage persons to hand in their illegal firearms for money. Now, can you see the problem with that yet? You're paying people for their illegal actions. That's positive reinforcement of negative behavior. The problem with that is that these same people get access to other guns soon after they hand in the old ones. The guns still keep coming into the country. Wouldn't it be better to stop the influx of guns into the country and then put stiffer penalties on those found with illegal firearms? Random checking in the streets and in high-risk areas, although controversial, is the most effective way to control the possession of any illegal item. The ones crying foul for being searched are the most likely the ones with something to hide. Now, the law gives a person the right to protect him or herself or their property. Section 34 of the Criminal Code of St. Lucia, Act 9 of 2004, in force as of January 1st, 2005, reasonable use of force in self-defense. A person may use such force as is reasonable in the circumstances: A, to prevent crime; B, to protect himself or herself from another person or from injury; C, to protect himself or herself or another person from trespass to himself or herself or the other person; D, to protect from injury or damage to his or her property or property belonging to another person with that person's authority. Now that seems clear enough, except for the part that says reasonable force. How does one define reasonable force? And then, in a situation, determine whether the force used is reasonable enough to protect oneself. The use of non-fatal personal protection devices like tasers, pepper spray, mace are actually not allowed in St. Lucia. Now, the ladies may get away with pepper spray or taser as a means of self-defense, but mace is clearly illegal and considered a noxious substance. Under the criminal code, the use of a noxious substance to cause harm to someone carries a sentence of up to 15 years on conviction. So what is a person to do to protect him or herself? It seems we may soon become a vigilante state. When the security forces of a country can't protect its innocent, law-abiding citizens, people will start to find their own ways to protect themselves, their loved ones, and property. Soon enough, the lines become blurred and we have total chaos and then anarchy. That's it for today. If you have something to say, we want to hear. Look out for the Choice TV crew for a chance to present your solution to the country. Now, if you have a burning question you want us to ask the people, we can do that too. Send us an email with your hot burning issue at solucian@choice39.tv. That's SOLUCIAN @choice39.tv. Join us again next week for more Solutions.
So much things happening. I work on a cruise ship.
Not everyone that's in the prison that is guilty, but we have a university center criminal.